Hey, this is Mac with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and this is our chart lesson for Friday. Today is January the 27th, and it was pretty much just another trading range today. Um, Prices opened right in here off this double bottom today, traded up, and we made a high around 13, 14 or so, and we traded in that range until looks like probably right before 2 o'clock. So that was really much later than we'd want to enter any new trades, although it was a pretty good setup right there, or not necessarily a good setup, but a good move. And then prices just kind of chopped around the rest of the day through the close. So actually, yeah, this was right before 2 o'clock, so it was really too late to be trading right in here. If you took this trade, that's okay. But it was risky going long right here this time of day, so I don't like that setup. But anyway, let's just go back and look at the rest of the day and see how we could have traded this. And you actually could have had this trend line right across here, and if you had that, that's okay, because that would have kept you taking shorts off of these highs, pulling back to here. And you can see each one of these highs was a lower high. We started right here just after the regular open. Then the next high was a little bit lower. Next high lower than that one. The next one was lower, lower, until we made a little bit higher high here. And that was higher than this high. And it was coming off a double bottom right off the previous support area from the overnight session. So this was a good strong clue that we were probably going back to the other side now. And that's really all we did. Prices just worked from the high of this area right in here to the low down here where it's been holding consistently, and then prices rallied out of there. And you probably should have had a trend line coming out of here like so or so, but I probably would have drawn it just like that right there. Got it off those first couple of swings there, first 3 bars, and that would have had you on the right side. And let's just see what it would have looked like if we'd have drawn it right off of this low right here. Still get the same thing, but that's the way I would have had it drawn. And you can see we did get the break, and then the retest to a new high, and then prices sold off. So it still followed our regular basic trading range rules, or trend line rules, I should say. And we really had that here. We broke this trend line. We came back and tested it right here. You can see we came back and tested this trend line, and then prices went higher. And so we had our test there. And that's usually what you'll see on weaker trends that are not really good, strong trends, is that you'll just see a pullback to test the trend line that holds, and then it goes higher. And my guess is if we copy this and drag it down right here, you'll probably get the low side, and you can see that would have kept you knowing where the reversals were likely to happen. And generally when you get a touch on one side, you'll go to the other side, and that's pretty much what happened until we broke out of there. So, but the best, I really traded it off of this trading range right here, these 2 lines here, but you could have used those trend lines that I just drew for you, and that would have got you where you needed to be as well. But the best way to trade that would have been to have your range lines, or your trend, your support and resistance lines, which basically outline your range, and kept those going there for you. And that would have kept you on the right side, knowing that you're looking for prices to touch the high and then touch the low and then go back to the high again. And of course, your key entry points, be thinking about it before I mark them for you here. And hopefully you already know what I'm going to tell you here. They're going to be here, 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 and here. And they're also, those are going to be your best ones, but you're also going to have some here, 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 and here. So there were plenty of trades a day, as weak as it was, and this was a trading range day. And I did get an email from one of our students today asking about were we in a range day or a trend day, and I didn't get a chance to get back to him. He's probably thinking I'm ignoring him, but if you're seeing this, you know who you are, and I apologize that I didn't get back to you earlier before But it's just been crazy around here. I've been working on the algorithm. I've been working on my trading computer, upgrading it. I've been working on the website. And so it's just been really hectic for me. And it's really late in the afternoon. I should have already been home. And I'm doing this chart lesson because I didn't get one done yesterday. I didn't want to go 2 days in a row without doing one, especially going into the weekend, since a lot of you are probably wanted to spend some time over the weekend studying. So, but hopefully you see all this. Hopefully you see these key entry points. There were actually even a couple of more. This was another one. This was a pullback to the EMA. And after we've touched the low, we actually made, once you make a double bottom at a key support or resistance area, that's usually a great clue. And you can see this was a double top here at a strong resistance area. And look at that sell off. Here's a double bottom at this strong support area. And look at that move up. Here's a double bottom down here at this key support area, and look, we moved all the way back up and had a good move up. So watch for those double bottoms, and watch for your strong support resistance. And hopefully you already knew where the key areas were before I was going to show you, before I showed them to you. And if you found a day difficult to trade, it's mostly because you either didn't see the support and resistance or you weren't drawing your trend lines. And even though you can get a trend line off of this is not much of a trend, but you can see, regardless, you can see that trend there, and you can see all these turns right off that line all day long. And the only one that would have failed would have been this one. And prices still came back and gave you a chance to get out. Most likely you should have got stopped out, because if you held on much longer than that, you were doing the wrong thing. So if you did take this short right here, you likely got stopped out. It was a second entry short right here, but after coming off this double bottom, that's your clue that you probably don't want to be going short on this particular one if you did. But if you were trading these other ones, you should have already had several points in the bag before we ever got to here. And just trading a few of these trades, I was done by I think I was done by 10:30 today. And so that's what you got to shoot for, is to get done early, because if you're trading late in the afternoon, and you get caught on the wrong side, like right here, this trade would have worked. You would have at least got your scalp. And this would not necessarily be a bad short trade either, because your resistance had moved down to right here. And when we made this, it moved down to here. So when you got that break higher that reversed and closed down here on the low, that was a good trade right there. And you see, you would have got your scalp. You wouldn't have got any more, but you did get your scalp, and then prices turned. But when it bounced right here off the EMA, you could have called it the bounce off the EMA, a bounce off the trend line, bounce off the former highs here, a breakout pullback long. So there was all kind of reasons to know to reverse here or to get out once prices went higher again. So hopefully you see that. I'm going to call it a quick day because it's been a long week for me, and but I did want to get this lesson out today. If you got any questions on it, drop me an email. I'll try to answer them. And I hope everybody had a good trading week. And if you didn't, I hope you have a better one next week. Continue to watch the videos and study how I put these support and resistance lines on here. And one other quick thing before I wrap it up. People always ask me, how do I know if the support and resistance is going to hold? Well, the honest answer is you don't. And you put your order there and you trade it and you put your stop there, and you're either going to be right or you're going to be wrong. And if you're wrong, you get stopped out. And if you're right, well, you put your money in the bank. And most of the time, you're going to get a bounce enough to scalp out, and that's why we scalp out and use runners. And generally, when you want to hold your runners is when you're coming off strong support like this, because look what happened. Every time we got down here, we didn't know it was strong support till here. But when we got back down here again, if you held your runner, you could have made 2 or 3 points off that runner. If you tried to hold any longer, you would have got stopped out. But when you caught this second one, if you held a runner, you could have rode it all the way out to the end of the day and got out up here and made yourself 6 or 7 points off that one bounce. Same thing right here. And actually what I would have done if I'd have entered right here, I would have exited right here more than likely and look to re-enter if it did go higher. So knowing that prices are very likely to stall right here or even reverse right here, that's usually where I'm going to have a target. And when if I was coming down, my target was this line right here. And you see what happened every time it got down here. If I'd have held, yeah, you might have got a few extra ticks right here, but you see how nothing closed down there at all. That is a strong clue. When nothing's closing down there, you look, everything, nothing could close below this point right here, and that's why I got my line right there, because that's where the major support is. Even though they would break through there a few times, nothing could close in there, and you'd end up closing back inside here. So that is a strong clue, so pay attention to it. But anyway, that's usually how I find my targets. I either get a measured move, and let me show you this right here. I keep saying I'm going to end this for the day, but if you take that leg right there and you measure it and you move over here, look where this leg went to. And we talked about this same move, I believe, last Friday. The very same thing happened. We spent most of the day in this range until the afternoon, and then we had a perfect measured move out. And that's exactly what we had today. And so that's 2 Fridays in a row. Look at that. I mean, there's your measured move. And there it is again. And those closes are to the tick off that little area right there. And that's where you knew to find your target. And so that's how I find my targets. I either use my measured moves or I'm getting out of support and resistance. And like I said, even though we had a measured move that would have been up to here, I likely would have exited here. But that would have also been a clue that you might re-enter when prices made this little trap right here where we broke lower first and then closed higher and then went on higher. So anyway, it's about 12 minutes here. I'm going to call it a day. Hopefully you learned something again today, and hopefully you had a good week again, and we'll see you next time. This is Mac with PriceActionTradingSystem.com.